Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Episode 337. That number sort of just starts to lose meaning, you know? That I've actually done this for 337 weeks in a row. It's pretty crazy. Pretty nuts. We're of course playing Valheim. I think it's safe to say I'm pretty freaking obsessed with this game now. You know, I was obsessed with Bravely Default 2. And, you know, it's not like I don't want to get back to Bravely Default 2, but it's just fucking Valheim, man. Like, I had to, like, force myself to stop playing just to start the stream so I could stream it. It's crazy, man. There's just always something more to do in this game. Every minute, there's just like, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I could do this. Oh, I gotta do this, I should do this. There's always something to be doing. Like, I have not even fought the third boss yet. And I've played for... let's see, what does Steam say? Steam says 89 hours. It's crazy, man. And I never really got into Minecraft. I never got into any other survival game. But this little gem comes out and it's like, oh my god. So yeah. I've been playing with friends. But we haven't really done much together. You know, it's not like we're roaming around and exploring together and clearing out crypts together and things like that. It's mostly just we've like built this community together, this little village. Which we're pretty proud of. This is my house. I just followed a build guide from the Pilgrims Project because I could never come up with how to build this shit myself. And I'm pretty pleased to have this as a home. I like it. I like it quite a bit. You know, nice little abode for one solo Viking. It's all good. I gotta fill it with more furniture yet, but yeah. This is one of my friend's little shacks because he has no building talent whatsoever and doesn't want to spend the time to follow a big guide. So that's atrocious, and I have to look at that every day. It's like Carl Pilkington says, you know, you'd rather live in the shack and look at the mansion than live in the mansion and look at the shack, but c'est la vie. Our nice little paved road and the grass section's all good. This is our storage hut. This I built from hand, no guide or anything like that. Just all on my own. And there was this section of this land that we cleared out and leveled that I couldn't level. I think it's something to do with... You can only bring down the ground so much. And so since we built on a hill, this section I guess was just too tall and I couldn't bring it down to level with everything else. So I'm like, okay, we'll just build a raised storage hut here. And so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this thing. I'm pretty proud of it. Let me just... I mean, this would be probably a bit too much storage for one player, but since there's like 3 of us together... It works out. Very nice. And then my other friend is really into building. He's not following a build guide or anything like that. He is just constructing this mansion. That's like all he's done. I don't think he's ever killed like a monster or anything like that. He just builds while we explore the world and stuff. And he has gear because we've given him all our gear, but yeah, he just builds. And it looks good. It looks damn good, so I can't complain too much. But anyway, I'm just gonna spend some time trying to build our crafting area. Oh, is he out? Oh, yeah. Alright. He's gathering wood. Anyways. Yeah. It's just good. It's just a good fucking game. I got in my new computer this week. I'm not currently using that computer. Because, yeah, so this took like 5 weeks or so to get in from CyberPower. Because they're pretty backed up from like COVID, you know, hurting their workforce and things like that. And parts are obviously really tricky to get a hold of. Especially because, like, if you want, like, a 3080 or something like that, your only real bet, aside from scalpers, is buying a pre-built computer. So, you know, people are probably doing that. So my new rig was a 5950, a Ryzen 9 5950, and a RTX 3090. Which is a pretty good setup. Took 5 weeks to get in. Which was fine. It's not like I had no computer or anything like that. But I get it in, plug it all in. And it's like I was already like rushed because I was like working and I was just like, oh, get this done. I want to play Valheim. Like, oh, you know. So I was already in a flurry. I was like, all right, just plug this all in, install Valheim, let's go. But yeah, I plugged it in, set it up, and pretty much as soon as I turn it on, the fans just start whirring. I mean, these fans were blasting very audibly. And I'm like, okay, don't panic. It's probably just that, you know, the fan curve is fucked or something right out the gate, and we'll sort it. We'll sort it. Something like that. That's probably good. God damn it. But then I go in, you know, poke around in the BIOS, and I find that I cannot lower the fan speed below like 50%. Because these are apparently not like PWM fans or whatever that you can really control. They're just, you know, 3-pin bullshit fans. And of course, my problem is I tend to be really just impulsive. I'm an impulsive purchaser. I don't purchase much often. So you'd think that when I do, I'd like really take my time and do all this proper research and make sure everything's perfect. But no, when I do purchase, it's just impulsively. So had I, you know, properly looked into things, probably would have realized that upon purchasing that, you know, we probably want better fans than that. But I didn't. And that is really the biggest pet peeve in my entire life. I can't really think of much that would top it. Is a noisy computer. Not when I'm like full bore gaming with like headphones on. I don't, you know, my computer could be a fucking, you know, wind tunnel or something for all I care. But when it's just idle and I'm just sitting here browsing the web, it needs to be silent. It needs to be utterly silent, or as close to as humanly possible. That it's just that's just how it is. Wait a minute. That's not connected, but can't you? No, this is just not level. Just not level. It needs to be silent. So, you know, I need to be able to set a fan curve. You know, I don't even care if the temperatures are high when it's idle, as long as it's silent. That's it. So as soon as I learned that, I was so frustrated because I was in such a hurry as it is. I was just like, chuck this out the window. I didn't, but I was just like, oh my God, 5 weeks for this bullshit. And I mean, there was really nothing else wrong with the computer. I had Valheim installed. I fired it up, but everything was running great, obviously. But the sound, I just can't tolerate it. So, yeah, I just quickly unplugged it all. And, plugged in my old computer and was like, all right, whatever, leave it there. But, you know, my brother came over and we poked around and we're like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's definitely the fans causing this sound issue. Because in my last computer, when we had a sound issue, it was actually my power supply that was like a shit power supply running way too much with too little, and just like the fan was shit. It was just like that was the actual culprit. But this time, no, it's the main sort of CPU fans. So I ordered some new fans in, some nice Noctuas, and we're gonna get those. We're gonna get it set up properly, and yeah, soon I'll be top of the line. So. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say I'm done with CyberPower, because the last computer that one of the like LAN computers that I bought for my LAN room that I'm going to be setting up, that I bought from CyberPower, and there wasn't a single issue. It's just like perfectly fine, perfectly good. I have not had a single complaint with that. So I was like, all right, you know, they can handle this. They can do it. But yeah, I mean, it's probably more my fault, but whatever. Anyways. What are we doing? Last week on this channel, We got Bravely Default 2 going. We got what else? What else? What else? Divinity Original Sin 2. Cute. And we did we did Valheim on Wednesday. I promise that won't happen this Wednesday. I'll come up with something else. I really promise. I mean, maybe people just prefer Valheim. I don't know. It's some good shit. But I digress. And then yesterday, we did Two Brothers Play Final Fantasy X, which was good. I mean, we're clipping along. Lego is obviously struggling a little bit, but I think he's in a good spot now. He's happy with it. He's not bitching, so that's good. How did I really envision this looking? I think I actually envisioned this going out a little further. Yeah, right to the edge. There you go. And then I saw this sort of hooking in. Do we have sort of like an L shape? Yeah, something like that. Something like that. That's what I saw in my head. So yeah, Bravely Default 2, Divinity Original Sin 2. That's all continuing. Pretty much same old, same old. And yeah, I think it'll pretty much be that until Monster Hunter Rise comes out. And we do a little bit of Mangg Hunter again. Very exciting. Yeah. Sort of begs the question of why I would leave an empty space like there, but aesthetics, I don't know. And you have, you know, some stairs here. Some stairs. See, that's no good. Can't have that. Can't have that. Why are you not? I think you just gotta be that. There you go. There you go. Now, can you get a diagonal going? But it never looks good, does it? It always looks like garbage. I could do stone steps, actually. That would be kind of cool. Anyways, yeah, so... on the Exploring series, I released a video about Murphy Law. Hotly anticipated video. So the response to that video was, I guess I would have to say phenomenal. Would be the word that I would use. Like, it was crazy how much people liked that video. And it's so weird because it's a video that I was proud of. And generally when I'm proud of a video, it just sort of gets forgotten. No one really cares too much about it. But yeah, so to have a video that I'm proud of and everyone seems to like was just awesome. I mean, I was certainly a little nervous about that one. That's the first time I've ever really voice acted, at least in an SCP. And, yeah, people really dug it. And, they wanted me to do plenty more of it. I I don't know if I can do anything about that. Sort of. Okay, yeah, we're cooking. But yeah, people loved it. I mean, so many comments called it a masterpiece and the best video I've ever made. That's crazy shit. That's crazy shit you're saying. I mean, I don't think it is. I don't know what the best video I ever made would be. I mean, I usually say Ouroboros Cycle, but that's probably just because it took the longest. I don't know if that necessarily means it's the best. But yeah, all in all, I'm glad that I did it. Because originally, I you know, like I said, I wanted to do it for a long time, but I figured I needed voice actors. Oh, that's no good. We need it to be like that. What should I be mining? Yeah, so I wanted to do it for a while, but I figured I need voice actors because, sure, maybe I could do, Murphy Law, and I could do the narrator, but then there's this female researcher. This isn't right. This isn't good. I'm fucking up here. There's a female researcher. I mean, what am I going to do about that? Oh, gosh. And then there's, like, the site director. And so, yeah, originally I was like, okay, eventually I'll contact some people. Maybe we can get this together. I really don't feel comfortable with that, but maybe we can make it happen. And truth be told, I probably would never actually get that together to make it happen. So yeah, I'm glad that I decided to just do it myself, because clearly it turned out pretty well. And, yeah. Hopefully I didn't set, like, a precedent if that's, you know, because now we're gonna go back to, like, my normal, boring videos without voice acting. But what you gonna do, you know? Wish you could craft like a nicer looking floor with like fine wood. Surprised they didn't put that in yet, but the next update they'll probably have all sorts of new home stuff. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, the next video that I worked on was the Department of Abnormalities, which is it's hard to say if it's really, I mean, it is part of the Cactus verse in a sense, even though only one of the SCPs I cover in the video was written by Cactus, but he started it. So, and the big SCP, the SCP titled Department of Abnormalities, it started it all, has elements of the Cactus verse in it and references and things like that, so. Now let's see. We want to have... I don't want this to be an enclosed building. This is going to be open. But we need this to be walled. So, yeah, I mean, it's technically part of the cactus verse. And I gotta say, I will admit that I think this is like the first video that has actually like sort of suffered, I think, because of my obsession with a video game at the time. Is that a good enough look? Or do I want to go another wall up? Probably fine. Yeah, so due to my obsession with Valheim, I didn't spend the time to properly like blueprint the video like I normally would. We're almost out of wood. What the fuck? So normally, obviously, when I do a video, I read through everything. I scope out, okay, we're gonna do this one, this one, this one, this one, for like a compilation SCP. These ones I feel best represent what I'm talking about, and blah blah blah. So I sort of skimped out on that step, and I just sort of winged it. I mean, I sort of scoped things out, but not to the same degree that I should have. So I ended up including an SCP that, after all was said and done, I was just like, I don't know if this is the best fit. You know, I don't know if this should really be included in the video. But by the time I came to that realization, it was just like, I don't want to redo all this, and I want to play Valheim. Now, people, someone said on Patreon that it was a good thing that I included that SCP, which is, I mean, if I didn't tell you this, I doubt anyone would really even notice or care that I did do the proper diligence, but it's just a personal thing. So yeah, it's a good video. I mean, the quality of the video overall is not like suffered or anything like that. It's just that was sort of a niggling little thing when I was wrapping it up. Like SCP, I don't know. Any other week, I don't know if I would have included it. But we don't have a workbench. We don't have a functional workbench. None of these are roofed. Unless he has one. No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I need a new hammer. There we go. Swap. Also, suffering. Although this one, I'm not really sure. I think this one, the Final Fantasy XIV video, I think, is just like, I didn't really think about it when I planned out it initially. I mean, before I even like started playing Valheim. But remember, I said for Final Fantasy XIV, I was breaking up each video into sort of a topic sense, like a little arc, a mini arc in the story. And so this next one is about the Titan stuff, where you go all around working with this mercenary group, doing this bullshit tasks so that they'll tell you how they defeated Titan. And then it's revealed that really they just did these tasks so you could prove yourself to be ready to face Titan. And they don't really have any fucking advice for you. It's like a really bullshit section of the game. And I think, see, that's where I was like, okay, I sort of always plan on kind of skimming over that section. But then putting it together, it's like, okay, if I skim over this bullshit task section, it's a really short video if you just stick to the Titan arc. Obviously, when you're playing the game and you're running all around and doing all this nonsense, it takes a good chunk of time. But when you're just summarizing it, yeah, it goes pretty quick. So I don't know. This video will probably be like 16 minutes long or something like that. It's not going to be that lengthy of an episode compared to my original plan of 40-minute episodes every time. Which I could do that. I could roll right into the Kurthos stuff with the Ishgardian stuff, you know, the houses of Ishgard and Kurthos and blah, blah, blah. I could do that. What the fuck? We're out of wood! God damn it. This motherfucker right here uses up every ounce of wood in the galaxy. He's deforested all sorts of places. Anyways. So yeah, I mean, I could include all the Kurthos stuff. And make it just this big epic video. Did he farm all my carrots too? Alright, he's a busy bee. But at the same time, that's a lot more work right now. And, you know, Valheim. So we'll just stick to the original plan. The Kurthos stuff will all be its own video, which will probably be a lengthier video. That one won't be 16 minutes long. So it's just a series of wildly different video lengths, which I guess is sort of like SCP. I mean, yeah, it's not like a television show, but whatever, it's YouTube. I can do whatever the hell I want. I mean, let's be clear. I can do whatever the hell I want. Sort of, to a degree. Yeah, so that's what's going on with that. I think next week I'm working on another 001 proposal. Newest one. Titled Memento Mori. I'm carrying too much. Eat my ass. Alright, fine. It's sort of like a sad one. I haven't really read the whole thing yet. I just heard it's really good. So, I'll be reading it very soon. Obviously. That's an important part of making a video about it. I don't have to read every SCP before I put it on the polls. If enough people say it's good, I believe them. Yeah, so that's what's going on with that. Okay, let's put a work. Well, I gotta scope this out here. I mean, I guess we probably want like the workbench to be in a centralized location here. Right. And then you want all the accoutrements alongside it here. I don't really know Then we want the forge to be like here. Or here? Maybe here? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's usable, it's all good. And then we want, like... wonder if you could do double smelters heat? No, maybe you couldn't. That's sort of the issue here. I'd have to remove the roofs there. Or I could use... I don't know why I did this elf thing. In hindsight, I'm not sure what I was thinking. What I could do is raise the ground and just have this on the ground instead of on floor. That could work. Alright, let's just sad walk over there. Okay, so, King's Dilemma, we played on Monday. I think we're real near the end now. I would say it'll possibly be over tomorrow when we play again. It feels like we're kind of close. A lot of storylines are kind of wrapping up. No, you fuck. Something like that. That doesn't really look that great, but... got this stupid... something like that. I might surround it by like stone walls just to make it blend in. Or... yes. Fucking sad walk. Stop it. Something like that. And then just maybe wall this all off so it doesn't look unsightly. That could be doable. So yeah, I think we'll finish King's Dilemma very soon, and then we'll move on to Sprawl. And it's not like... I mean, King's Dilemma has been a lot of fun. Definitely been an enjoyable endeavor. But we have played it for like, you know, a couple months straight. And we've got the allure of an RPG in the future, so, you know, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. Speaking of RPGs, you know, I've been having family D&D every week for a little while now, and I've been kind of getting fed up with them. Okay, hold on. There you go. Now they're uneven stairs. Perfect. Oh, actually, I should be able to latch that onto then. This. This. There you go. There we go. Now it's still uneven, but fuck it. So yeah, I've been sort of just getting fed up with them playing D&D and me having to run it. Come on, you were there. I don't have the cores anyways. And so one of the members of my family decided to step up and try out DMing for themselves. And that person was my mother. My mom in her 60s decides to try out DMing. And so I told her to check out Matt Colville on YouTube. I've never really watched his videos because it's like I don't really need or am interested in hearing how to start DMing in D&D. But I've heard from plenty of people that he's like the go-to guy for that. So I recommended him to her, and she watched a whole bunch of his videos, I guess. And we need to go get more cores. So I guess we're going on a bit of an adventure. She watched a bunch of his videos, and I had given her a starter one-shot, like a basic one-shot that she could run. It was only like a few pages long. I hadn't read it, but you know, I assumed it was good. And she comes back to me the day of the session. She's like, "Oh, I went with a different one." I'm like, wow, how industrious of her to sort of improvise and, you know, go off the beaten path. What she ended up doing was going with the Matt Colville's like starter one-shot adventure, which is super basic. I mean, it's also super basic, but he, I guess in one of his first videos or one of his main videos, he sort of like walks you through the whole thing and how to run it, which I could see being very valuable. And I think she definitely benefited from that. And so, yeah, she was very excited and anxious to run her first adventure. And the adventure is very simple. It's basically this guy rushes into a tavern and says that some goblins have kidnapped his girl, his daughter, and he needs some adventurers to go rescue her. And we track the goblins through the woods. We come across this like ancient temple that they've taken over, and through basically a short series of rooms and hallways, there's a trap in there and blah blah blah. There's a bunch of goblins. We eventually come to this ritual chamber where this goblin shaman and a bugbear are planning to sacrifice this girl to the goblin god. And we wipe them all out and save the girl and save the day. So this is obviously, I mean, this is D&D 101, you know. For someone that has played as much as I have, this is exceedingly simple. But, you know, it's my mom's first time DMing, so I'm gonna play along as best I can and lead the group as best I can and all that good stuff. So I specifically did not try to do anything too tricky or, you know, ridiculous. I didn't try and negotiate with the goblins like I normally would, or, you know, try and smoke things out. You know, I didn't try to be real tricky. I threw a couple things in there of like, because I was playing as Artemis, of course, who can speak goblin. So I was trying to like, we tried to ambush a few of them by like calling out in goblin for help in the woods, and we jumped out, and that actually where we killed a few goblins that way. And it basically was all just like a learning experience for my mom, for how to improvise with things that aren't in her notes, you know, and things like that Matt Colville didn't mention and that could happen, you know, stuff like that. Dealing with some logical concerns of problems that might crop up, all that sort of good stuff. But mostly, I mean, it was really just like, let's fight some goblins, and we fought goblins, and she, you know, she has to deal with running a combat and blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, I mean, we were successful. No one died, although that's because my mom, of course, is a bit of a Care Bear and didn't want to kill anyone. And so, towards the end of the session, we were battling, like, the last of the goblins, and she ended up rolling a critical hit on my brother-in-law, who had already taken some damage, but I don't think he was really in near death. But anyway, she rolls a critical hit, and I'm like, oh, here we go, here we go. And she, like, rolls a dice behind her screen, and she says, okay, 3 damage. And I'm like, nope, no. Whatever you just rolled, it's wrong. Because I'm like, okay, you got a critical hit, you want to roll, like, double damage. I think that's the rule for 5th edition. I don't know. You know, you play a lot of systems, it all gets jumbled, but I think it's double damage. You just roll the damage dice twice and add your damage bonus once, I think. If there is one. So I'm like, you know, you just double it. You know, just double the damage. And she's like, she didn't roll anything else. And she's like, okay, 4. And I'm like, it went from 3 to 4 by doubling. And then she's like, I don't want to kill him. And it's like, oh my, there has to be this fear of death. You know, there has to be a concern that we could die. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, we can just rush in and hug the goblins because they'll never kill us. All right, this is funny. I gotta screenshot this shit. Yeah, so... Oh, dang, he had a lot of shit on him. I'm taking this. Taking all this good stuff. Yeah, it's... Oh, I'll grab those. Grab that. Okay. This is such a perfect image. One of my friends died during the Elder fight, and he's never played again. So yeah, I mean, she's gotta learn to not be as much of a Care Bear. I mean, that's where it sort of helps to kind of keep track of players' health if you want to go that route. So then if you know he has 9 HP or something like that, if you want to be a Care Bear, then, you know, then you like roll some dice behind your screen and you say 8 damage, or, you know, so just leave him on the brink of death. And the player will think, oh my god, I narrowly avoided dying. Whereas the DM, you know that, you know, okay, you know, you put him there on purpose. You didn't want to kill him, but you got him damn close. Now, I don't think I would do that. But I can see why some people would want to do that, and I think that's better than sitting there and saying, I don't want to kill him. But it was her first time, and overall, everyone was happy. I mean, yeah, I think we all thought it was a simple adventure, but we all were there just to help her learn how to DM. And... she was mostly happy, but she said afterwards that, you know, she wasn't really concerned about, like, how the combat would go, because combat, you know, it's like, she knows that she doesn't know all the rules, and I have to help her, and she was prepared for all that, and that's not a big deal, but she was sad that she didn't do a better job of, like, setting the scene. you know, and being like evocative with her language of when we walk into a room or a new hallway, you know, and describing the sounds and the smells and really painting a picture for our brains. And like one example of that sort of issue cropping up is when we first arrived at this temple and we saw goblin guards standing in front of it. Yeah. God damn it. Oh, man. Fucking... Ugh. She described, like, the door to the temple. And she said she had described the place as the tomb on the hill. That's what she had called it. So she said tomb on the hill, and when we first arrived, all she described was the doorway and the goblin guards that were standing in front of it. So all of us thought initially that this was literally just like a door built into the side of a hill. And so eventually she had to clarify that, no, this is like a building, like with Roman architecture and things like that. It's an actual full building on a hill. And it's like, oh, well, you know, you need to mention that sort of right away so you can paint the scene. That's important. Also, like, there was apparently like a patrol of goblins in the area. And she had misinterpreted, I think, from Matt Colville, because she did not. There is like a PDF text version with images that you can find, you know, you can have of this one-shot adventure, but she purely did this. She did this entirely just off of his video, and she made her own notes about the adventure based on what he was describing and what he was saying. So she said that there was a patrol of goblins that walked around this building. And I, of course, asked how long it takes for this patrol to go around the building. And she said 45 minutes. And I'm like, I don't even know if it takes 45 minutes to walk around the White House. This is like a massive complex you're describing. And so afterward, like last night, I checked the PDF. And what it actually describes is not them patrolling around the building. They're just patrolling the area. And they come back to the doorway like every hour or so, or every 45 minutes. And they do like a shift change with the other goblins there. So that's what it actually is. The way she understood it was them walking around the building, which takes 45 minutes. But anyways, you know, that's just something, you know, in the future, she won't be going off of her own notes. She'll be using a document. Yeah, so overall, I mean, she did well. She did well. I mean, as well as any first-time DM really could. For someone that doesn't know all the rules and doesn't know all the tropes and doesn't know, you know, that it doesn't have many other standards to go off of other than me, which I'm not the greatest DM. So yeah, you know, she really wants to run like a whole campaign, she said. And she wants to, like, you know, come up with her own campaign, which is, well, it's heartwarming, I suppose. I think she's a little bit ways from that. We don't want to dive into a campaign, right, first of all. Because when you go into it, like, especially well, if she did her own campaign, that's tricky. Because A, it's either way too railroady for most people, especially me, and I will break your railroad, and it won't be good. Or, oh shit. Oh my god. Okay, good. What was I? What did I? What? Oh, did I? Okay, I got it all. Yeah, okay, we're good. We're good. Alright, now I kill you for killing me. Get back here. Yeah. God fucking hill. This is what you get, man. Oh. What? Arrows probably would have been faster, but anyway. So yeah, I need to give her another adventure for us to run, for us to play. I said she should run like a slightly longer one shot, maybe that takes 2 weeks, 2 sessions instead of 1, to sort of get her more used to reading a document and preparing something a bit more involved before diving into a campaign. So if anyone has any good suggestions of, like, you know, a 2-session adventure, particularly ones with like a lot of traditional fantasy elements, you know, not like weird gonzo kind of horror, you know, or any sort of, nothing from Lamentations of the Flame Princess or anything like that, you know, just sort of traditional D&D stuff. The one that I was reading reviews of, that obviously I have not read myself, I have to look up the name of it, just give me a second. Let me get back to home. Get back to home. Oh shit, I picked up some, this tin. I should put it in the chest. All right. Let me see, what was the name of that? Let me find it. Like delve, or no, what was, hold on. This is the one. Defiance in Flan. The cult of the dragon has come to Flan, a lawless refuge on the Moon Sea. There's no authority to stop the cult, so other groups must unite to stop the cult from fulfilling its dark purpose in the city. Now, I was looking at this one originally for me to run, so I don't know if it would be good for her. Because this sounds like it involves a lot of, like, D&D lore sort of groups, and it's a part of the Tyranny of Dragons thing, so I don't know if it actually would be good and if there's something better. I am definitely open to suggestions on what to give her. I was just looking on the DMs Guild, and that one was super popular. I don't know if that means it's great. But yeah, we're really just like looking for stuff involving goblins or orcs, maybe like a baby dragon, you know, like really just sort of, it may, you know, maybe stepping it up a little bit and involving like gnolls or I don't know, kobolds, you know, or something even a bit more unique than that. I think like if it's like one unique creature, maybe that could work. I don't know. If no one has any suggestions, I'll just keep looking and poking around and seeing what people suggest. The problem is, of course, I've read a lot of stuff in my time of just like looking for potential one-shots to run for them. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff out there. But yeah, so that's the plan. That is the plan. It's nice. It's nice to play again. I'll say that. It is very nice to play again. And to not have to worry about DMing and getting frustrated with them and blah, blah, blah. There we go. That's pretty good. And we could even get this going. There we go. Probably put like some stones here just for filling in the gap. All right, so yeah, that'll about do us, I think. Check out the Department of Abnormalities tomorrow over on the Exploring series. Episode 5 of Final Fantasy XIV coming this week. Not a particularly long one. More to Divinity Original Sin 2, more Bravely Default 2, something on Wednesday, TBD. And Two Brothers Play Final Fantasy X on Saturday. Should be all good. Should be a good week. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. See you fine folks next week.